Exciting. Well,
I think Taylor's not going to go to school tomorrow.
On Saturday?
Oh, is it Friday?
Welcome to Inchworm,
the podcast in which we are inching through worm. I'm Jenny.
and I'm Ted.
And we read, what was it, 4.4?
Shell 4.4. What'd you think?
Well, the other shoe is dropping.
Yeah.
It hasn't dropped yet.
Yeah.
But it's like on the way down. It's like hovering in midair.
Yeah.
And I can't turn the page to see where it lands, which is terrible.
I know. And we can't record it for another few days. So
I know.
You're really going to be left in suspense.
They need to check on the money ASAP. And by ASAP, they mean like 4 or 5 days from now. Horrible.
Yeah, it's interesting. Just, we had sort of 2 chapters of kind of like Undersiders hanging out in Arc 3.
Like
and
no
then we got,
drama.
and then it's the bank job. And then this chapter, we had like 4 chapters, and we're getting a little bit of like, uh-oh, something's going wrong.
Ugh, I hate it when things go wrong. This better be the last thing.
But yeah, it seems like there could be some action picking
Stuff
up.
is going on. I also bet, like, this is the kind of cliffhanger that probably doesn't even register as a cliffhanger when you're just reading. You just turn the next page, but I can't do that.
Yeah.
What have you done to me, Ted?
Well, it's also
this is just going to get so much worse.
I mean, I'll summarize it, but we get Brian telling
his story,
his trigger event in this chapter, and remembering, I would not have known that like Taylor's is in one chapter and Brian's is in the next, right? You just read it all.
You just
seamlessly.
read it, yeah. Chapter breaks don't mean that much if you're not podcasting chapter by chapter.
Similarly, I was like, oh, this will just be Brian tells his story and then we'll go on to the next chapter. But there's actually a whole extra set of things that get discussed. But
coming
anyway,
down to crush our hopes.
Yeah. And
our hopes of 1.5 million words more of fluff.
I know.
It's okay. I actually can't take fluff that easily. So.
Yeah. This might be the perfect balance. We'll find out. So, as I've been saying, it is my turn to summarize what happened. So they had been in Fugly Bob's listening to Taylor talk about her trigger event. And Brian offers to tell his story, but says, why don't we head back to the loft? It's getting a little more crowded. Right. Don't want to necessarily make it clear that they're villains if a bunch of people are crowding around their table. Mm-hmm. Or, if not villains, even just capes.
Yeah.
People with powers. So as they head back, Brian starts talking. He reveals a lot about his family. His parents divorced when he was 13. His sister Aisha, 4 years younger, went with his mom, and he went with his dad. And they weren't that close. In different parts of the city, and also the age difference, interests, sounds like they weren't that close. But he received a text message from her one night out of the blue just saying, help me. And he, for some reason, takes it seriously, immediately goes to get a cab, and shows up at his mom's place to find his sister crying. She doesn't say what's wrong, so he's like, let's get out of this situation. And then he runs into somebody, a man he didn't recognize, his mom's new boyfriend. And he's like, it all clicked into place. I knew, maybe I'd sort of suspected something was wrong. And that would explain the gut feeling I'd had about, why I had to get over here so urgently. And he pauses his story for a moment before providing a little more background about how his father raised him. And he had a very emotionally distant father, especially after the divorce, it sounds like. And he provides that context to say, like, well, all I did was, like, go to the gym with my dad. And that meant I was surprisingly fit for a 15-year-old, which means that I could beat the crap out of this guy. So he beats up his mother's boyfriend, and then they get out of there. That night, he notices, in addition to blood leaking out of his knuckles when he's cleaning his hands, black smoke is leaking out of his knuckles as well. And Taylor asks basically, well, why didn't you get in trouble for beating that guy up? And Brian's like, well, I did, but it was clear that, from the circumstances, he was worse than I was. He went to jail for 6 months. I did community service. And then we start talking more about what Brian's doing in the Undersiders, and we learn that he's basically in it for his sister. He wants, when he turns 18 in June, he wants to take custody of her. And in order to do that, he has to have money. He has to prove that he is a better custodian of a teenage girl than both of his parents. So he needs a nice apartment. He needs to prove that he has a steady income. And so being a villain gets him cash, which is helpful. But even better, the boss gives Brian a stable paycheck and has a connection with somebody who's going to basically provide the paperwork to say, hey, this guy's got a nice job locked down and will be a, responsible adult who can take care of Aisha. And that's why he's an undersider. And Brian feels a little bit uncomfortable depending on the boss for that other part of it, like that paperwork part that is like really essential. And Lisa's like, well, there's, like you said before, there's no reason why the boss would mess with us. We've been a great asset for him. And the conversation about his backstory winds down. And after a little bit of time, Brian changes the subject to costumes. He's basically like, hey, your costume's cool. Where should I go to get a costume? And Taylor's like, huh? And then Elisa has to explain to them, like, guys, come on, you're both being really dense. Taylor made her costume. She didn't buy it. And Brian's like, whoa, that's so cool. And the conversation continues, and basically it ends up Brian and Lisa both want Taylor to make spider silk costumes for them. Taylor negotiates a bit. She talks like, well, my main objection is it's really time consuming and it's tough to do because I have to rotate the spiders and I have to do all this other stuff.
Gotta rotate the spiders. Normal chores.
Yeah, normal thing to say.
Can't go out tonight. Gotta rotate the spiders.
Yeah, and it's tough to do because I manage it all out of my basement, and what if my dad sees a bunch of spiders? And Lisa's like, yeah, but we have the whole first floor of our loft area that's totally abandoned, so fill that with spiders. And Taylor's like,
all the way full.
Great idea. And Alec freaks out. He's like, I don't like this idea at all. It's very funny. And Taylor eventually has like one or two qualms about now she's going to be supplying a villain team with better costumes than they already had. But, the chit-chat goes on until they get back to the loft. And two things happen in the loft. One is Taylor discovers that Brian has given her a welcoming gift. A dragonfly encased in amber that he left for her. And she, gets ready because they're all going out in costume to give the money to the boss, do the handoff. And the second thing that happens is when they're all getting ready to go out in costume, they realize, well, hey, bitch isn't here. I guess we were running late, so maybe she went ahead. But Brian tries to call her and her phone is off. He's like, something doesn't add up. We better go check out what's going on with the money right away.
Yeah.
And that's where the chapter ends.
The good-natured mood from moments before was gone. For the readers as well.
For the readers as well. Oof. So concerning.
Here comes the shoe. Yeah, so this was a really interesting chapter, especially for Brian. Like, I feel like we got so much from him a little earlier on, and he'd fallen off the radar a little bit. We'd gotten more from Lisa recently, but here we are with a spotlight on him.
Yeah.
And it turns out he has like a really solid reason for villainy.
Yeah.
All right, so
I think this is one of your predictions coming true. Is sort of like, come on, like they're going to be sympathetic when we hear what they're doing here.
Yeah, I mean, not just he was treated really badly, and this was kind of the only place for him to go, but he's doing this to take care of his sister, and this is like the best route towards having that stable life, and that's real depressing. Says a lot about the economy. And also does echo, I mean, we were talking about gangs being welcoming to people who couldn't fit inside, like, the system or whatever. Like, poor kids, kids with difficult backgrounds. And, like, this is very much a case of that, like, villainy being, criminal activity being one of the few viable routes to success for people who don't have other things going for them in their lives.
Yeah, and it's not that Brian couldn't make either a career as, like, he could probably be a powered enforcer that's not a villain. Like, he could be private security or something, maybe, right? Like, maybe that's a path. But it seems like, the money isn't enough to get what he really needs, which is urgently his sister out of a bad situation, right? If he could, over the course of many years, have, like, real financial success and independence.
Right. It's not like this is the only way for him to make enough money to live on.
Right. It's not going to help him impress a social worker
right.
this summer, right, in a couple of months.
And he's saying how he's going to need to hire private investigators to prove that his mom is still taking drugs, seeing boyfriends who she shouldn't be or whatever.
Right. His mom doesn't want to give up custody.
Yeah.
His dad may not care.
Right. His dad is
but
like on board with him taking his sister.
Yeah.
It seems like he's not big on the parenting, but the mom's going to fight for her.
And the stuff that the boss can do, pulling strings, getting him a fake legit job. It's invaluable, right? And there's no legit way to do that. Yeah. Right?
It's almost, villaining his way into privilege. Like having someone who can pull that kind of connection for you, make you valid. Like that's the kind of thing. I mean, you don't need it in the same way if you already have the privilege, but he's basically able to leapfrog into that place where there's someone up high is making things work for him.
Yeah. And it's not quite like he has a secret patron. It's not like this is someone who's oh yeah, I'll usher you into society and vouch for you.
Right, no.
Because
pulling criminal strings.
Well, right, but also it's I was going to say, it seems like Brian will be able to, at some point, he'll be free and be able to do his own thing. But that's kind of the promise that's laid out for him, right? Right now, he's incredibly beholden to doing
he's
everything
really nervous
the
about
boss
it.
says. And
because he's
rightly
a
so,
practical and basically cautious person. And he's I recognize that this will probably go my way, but there's a lot on the line if he doesn't follow through.
And he has no recourse if the boss screws him over.
Yeah. And that's, what a big lever to introduce to the story. These stakes, we haven't met this sister, but we care about Brian at this point, and this story that he tells is really powerful. And, I want his sister to be okay. I want his sister to be able to be in his custody, and it seems like he's going to be able to lead her to a better life. And now if he gets outed, if he gets unmasked, if he gets arrested, there are these terrible, there's so many more ways that this could be messed up for him than there were before. And the stakes attached to it are just much more vivid and powerful to me, I assume, to most readers.
Yeah. And it really explains why he is the way he is, where his sense of responsibility comes from. I'm sure it's his personality, but, a lot of teens, right, sort of the classic, oh, you think you're invincible, you think for yourself. It's you sort of don't have any responsibilities.
Alec being no, let's do the bank job, it'll be good for our rep. And he's no, it's a bad idea. And then Lisa presents the factors that make it more reasonable. But when he was mad at the bank, he was you said there would be 3 or 4 of them and there are 7 wards. And part of the reason he's mad is that he thought that this was a risk that wouldn't mess up his plan. To be able to escape into respectability. And
Taylor's she feels cornered and is I don't want to go to jail. But he's probably if it all falls apart here, what's going to
happen to my sister?
What's going to happen to my sister? Yeah. And I love this beat where Taylor says, I think what you're doing is very noble. He said, no. Brian almost sounded offended at the idea. I'm just doing what I have to. She's family,
Yeah.
Right. Just being offended by the sort of compliment of hey, you're a good guy.
Right.
You're doing a good thing. And he's it can't be any other way.
But it is Taylor really has this sense of I'm a good guy and I'm fighting for good. And that is not how Brian sees the world.
No. Right. No. Right.
It's you have to protect your family. You have to do the things you have to do to protect your family. Whether it's good or bad is not really a major factor for him.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. It's also very different from Lisa's point of view, which is sort of good and bad don't really matter because none of this really matters. This is all a game. The stakes are higher for us, but yeah. It feels like she probably doesn't have the kind of stakes in her life that Brian has.
Yeah. Definitely that's the impression she gives off.
Yeah. One thing that really doesn't get addressed in this chapter, Taylor really doesn't think about it, is is she going to betray him after hearing that story?
Yeah.
Is she going to say, no, this guy who's turned to villainy in order to give his sister a better life, he has this path to legitimacy, but I'm going to ruin it for him because I know his face. I know his, at least first name. I don't know if she knows his last name, but probably enough to dox him. Is she going to turn him in? How could she at this point?
Yeah.
And we talked about how, like, the Undersiders aren't freedom fighters. They aren't, like, trying to take down the man because he's corrupt. They aren't the people in leverage, like, conning the bad guys. They are villains who are stealing people's money, and they have different justifications for it. Lisa's like, we're not really doing anyone any harm. Brian says, well, this is what I have to do to save my sister. We haven't heard from the others. I wonder what this will do to Taylor's views of good and evil. It's almost like she's being presented with different worldviews that contrast with hers. And how will hers hold up? Will it bend in any way? Will it break? She puts a lot of stock in the protectorate is good.
Yeah.
Villains are bad.
Yeah.
And she has this sort of high idea of, well, she has these high ideals. And I wonder to what extent and at what point that understanding of the world will break down. It really, like, it feels like it's going to be a real coming of age, like, disillusionment story for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, like, I also don't think she's going to adopt Lisa's view of the world. I don't think she's going to adopt Brian's view of the world. I think she's going to construct her own. I'm really interested to see where she lands.
Right. Well, yeah. Does he present a counterexample to, like, this is the way villains are? Or does she just kind of say, well, Brian's not a villain. Like, now that I know he's a good guy, he's not a villain.
Yeah. But he does the villain stuff, like...
But so does Taylor.
Yeah, no, exactly. And maybe Taylor's reason is like, ultimately, so there's less villain stuff happening, and Brian's isn't really it doesn't have that, like, bringing down villainy motivation, but
this is interesting.
It has a different motivation.
Not to, like, pass judgment really on the characters in the story, but, like, Brian's motives are much more noble than Taylor's. Don't you think?
Interesting.
Like,
I mean,
Taylor
it's
has
debatable.
Taylor cares a lot more about, like, ethics and, like, trying to do the right thing and, like, reduce villainy in the city. But, like, I feel like Taylor's desires are so much more self-centered than Brian's. And maybe that's the...
No, that is true. That is true.
That's the thing that makes him seem more noble to me.
I think Taylor's, at least the story Taylor is telling herself, is much less compromising than Brian's. Like, Brian, I mean, it's unclear if he even thinks that it needs to be a compromise, because he seem to have a clear sense of, like, villainy equals bad, and, like, an institutional level or whatever. Or at least that's not something he cares about. But he is willing to do things that Taylor would say are really bad in order to protect his sister. She is telling herself, okay, I'm just going to do these things really temporarily so that I can ultimately stop them from doing these things.
Yeah.
She is not willing to concede that these things are okay to do.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. They're just very different.
Yeah. Right. Certainly, like you were saying, presenting very different lenses to look at these questions with. I
don't know if we'll get an interesting sense of ethics from Alec or Rachel, but I hope so. I hope this trend continues.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little about his trigger event.
Yeah, so is this what you were expecting?
No, I was expecting him to have been harmed.
Yeah.
And really, this was him harming someone else.
Yeah.
And, being sort of forced into it, it's not like he went out being like, let's beat someone up. Like, he was protecting someone and, had to do violence. It didn't seem like he came off the worst in any way. I mean, his knuckles were bloody. And he also says the really interesting line. He says, you hear about the trigger event, you might think it's all about rage or fear, but I'm a testament that it can be just the opposite. I didn't feel a fucking thing. Which is really interesting. It kind of makes you think about, like, okay, is it the fight or flight? I mean, he chose fight. It does seem like he was pushed really hard. Like, he was pushed to a level of violence that he would never have chosen for a different reason. Yeah,
well, it's interesting. What he says is he basically sees this man. He sees Aisha's reaction. I saw her shrink back. I felt her hold me tighter, and I went cold inside. And then he pauses, talks a lot about his father, and then comes back. I didn't say a word, didn't make a sound. I put my sister down and beat my mother's boyfriend within an inch of his life. My mother screaming and wailing the entire time. When I was done, I picked my sister up and returned to the cab. And then later he says that, it can be the opposite. I didn't feel anything. He wasn't pushed, I would say.
Oh, interesting. Like, yeah. I mean, I'd say circumstances pushed him.
Yeah.
Like, it's not... I think he was pushed by the perceived threat to his sister.
Yeah.
And the threat to him, like that he wouldn't be able to leave with her.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say anger because it said he went cold inside, but the understanding of what this man had done to his sister.
Yeah.
Like, I think that those things did push him. It's not that he was backed into a corner and this was the only thing he could do. But
yeah.
It was certainly an extreme moment, but not an extreme moment of emotion, it sounds like.
Right.
Though, I mean, you could argue, like, when someone goes cold like that, is that just their emotions being set aside temporarily for the, I mean.
It's really interesting. We don't get any other clues. Like, there aren't any descriptions about how he says things. There's no body language. And Taylor even remarks, after he's finished, I glanced at Brian, trying to gauge how he was feeling after telling his story. Was he really okay, or was he just really good at repressing his feelings? He looked totally normal, as relaxed as one could expect from someone who was carrying as many shopping bags as he was.
I like that line. So we do also hear a lot about his father. He says, his father is a hard man. Not the kind of man that's meant to raise a son alone. I wouldn't say he was abusive, but there's never been any warmth to him. No charming anecdotes, no fatherly wisdom, no throwing baseballs in the backyard. And then he segues into talking about how he'd really learned to fight with him.
Yeah, but him holding the punching bag in position while shouting at me that I was doing something wrong, staying grimly quiet if my form, my timing, the raw power of my hits were all flawless.
You can see how that kind of upbringing could result in someone as stoic as Brian.
He ends that with, he just expected me to keep up or take the hits, and I didn't have much choice in the matter.
Yeah.
Which actually, to me, it undercuts a little bit of his, like, well, I don't have a choice, she's family. If he's never had a choice his whole life, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is a big difference there between, like, oh, well, I have something to give, and I'm choosing to give that to my family.
Yeah.
Versus, like, well, this is my lot in life. No one else is there for my sister, so I have to be. Or, like, I guess I go to the gym with my dad, and he makes me punch things good, right? Like, there's an interesting parallel there, I think.
It feels to me like it feeds into the pragmatism we've seen from him, where he's like, he's not wasting energy being mad that his dad is sparring with him like this, that his dad is going to hit him like this. He's just dealing with it. He's like, well, this is what I have to deal with. Okay, either, take the hits or fight back. And sort of the same thing with his sister. He's not, like, and as seen in this conversation, like, he's not raging about how unfair it is. He's not, whining. He's not feeling self-pity. He's just like, this is the circumstance. How do I deal with it?
Yeah.
It's a good kind of character. I feel like this is also a very effective way to tell a sort of heart-wrenching story. Like, not having the character show a great deal of emotion. It's not always true. Like, there certainly are ways to portray strong emotions on the page well, in a way that the reader will feel the effects of them. But it's a little bit like the scariest monster is the one you don't see. Like, if you want someone to feel the power of the story, if you have the character reacting too much to it, if he was, like, choked up and couldn't get the words out, like, every other line or something like that, it would make it would feel like melodramatic, overblown.
Yeah,
like,
that's interesting.
The spareness of this recitation, I think, is very powerful.
Yeah, Taylor reaction just says, wow.
Yeah, and that works with his character. But I feel like we also saw a similar thing when Taylor was telling the story. Like, it was difficult for her to choose to tell it. We didn't get it for the first, 3 arcs of this book. But when she did tell it to them, she wasn't, like, breaking down to sobs all the time or anything like that. Like, she was just kind of straightforward. It was difficult, but she was getting it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very effective way to write emotion.
Yeah.
It's a very effective way to evoke emotion in the reader. Like, I feel like it's always better to a little bit underplay the character's reaction. Or the character's, like, emotional demonstrativeness. Because if you overplay it a little bit, it'll be like, well, that feels fake. Like, what's going on? Same thing if it's too easy for someone to tell something that's difficult. And so I think the reluctance all of the Undersiders showed about their stories is like,
right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's interesting. One thing I'll observe is, like, do you think this is the worst day of Brian's life? Like, if anything, he
seemed fine.
Well, he seems, it's, like, heroic. Like, he clearly, like, he doesn't relate it that way, but right, he has this, like...
The fact that something's heroic doesn't mean it's not a terrible experience, though.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's like, I can't explain it. I was in the right place at the right time. And, I guess he really doesn't opine on how he feels about the violence. Like, he doesn't say, like, I did things I can never take back.
Right. He's not haunted by the violence that he did to this guy who's like a child molester or whatever.
He doesn't say one way or the other.
Yeah.
He's totally aloof.
But, I mean, he's probably always aloof. Do you think there was a worse day in his life?
I don't know. It's interesting.
I'm looking forward. I hope we get some more origin stories.
Yeah.
I also feel, I'm just remembering, I feel like it was presented to me as like trauma generates powers. And you don't have to be feeling a strong emotion in a situation for it to be traumatic. I think maybe
That's
being
true.
a 15-year-old, having to rescue your sister from this grown man and then like having to beat this man up in order to rescue your sister from, whatever he was doing to her, that would be traumatic. Yeah.
We talked about like Taylor's powers, like her carrying around a loaded gun at all times and what that means and sort of like Glory Girl's excesses and stuff. Maybe this was the first time that Brian realized that just like, oh, I'm actually someone who...
I am a loaded gun, yeah.
Because of his boxing training, he's actually incredibly dangerous and can damage... Like, he's looking at the damage he can deal, right?
Yeah.
When he sees the smoke for the first time. And again, he doesn't... Like, I don't see... He is stoic and pragmatic, but I don't see him as being as emotionally flat.
No,
as he is when telling this story, right? Like I think that's a really interesting thing about the way he tells it, and it heightens the drama, of course, right? But like we certainly see a lot from Taylor rationalizing her own feelings, and like she's somebody who seems to like use her intellect a lot to like justify the way she's feeling, and I feel like there's probably something going on with Brian here that's like that.
Yeah, it does feel like there's a part of himself that he turns off in order to cope.
Yeah.
And we see later in the chapter, he got this really thoughtful gift for Taylor, which feels like a very timely counterpoint to... I mean, I wouldn't say this story presents him as cold, because it's all about him, like, protecting his sister and, like, shaping his life around taking her in. But then we do see the sort of thoughtful gesture that, I mean, he didn't have to do the way he feels like he has to do this for his sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just another...
Yeah.
This chapter gives a lot of facets on him. Yeah,
and his gift to Taylor is so sweet. And he's so, like, boy shopping about it. Because when she compliments him on it, he's like, but is it an okay gift? He's like, I saw this and thought of you. And I was like, okay, I'll buy it. But then I was like... But what am I doing? I don't know. Like, will she like? Is it weird because it's a dead bug and like your thing is bugs? It's like, and that's
so like I want to kill your bugs.
I just think he's so older brother. I feel like we talked a little bit about it. It just reminded me back of when Taylor's like showing off the crabs to him. And he's like kind of like, he has this kind of like banteriness and like friendliness and welcomingness to him. It just feels very older brother to me. Like it feels like he sort of has, and he says, I don't have a lot of interests in common with my sister. Yeah. So he probably has tried, to bridge that gap. Right.
Is it older brother? Or is it romantic?
Well, should we talk about romance in the workplace, says Alec.
But they also live there. I guess neither of them lives there. Yeah, after Taylor thanks him for the gift, she says she like never knows how to thank people for gifts. She worries she's going to sound sarcastic or something. So, impulsively, I gave him the briefest of hugs. It seemed like the only way I could make my gratitude clear. Hey, a voice from behind me startled the wits out of me. No romance in the workplace. It's Alec and Lisa. I must have turned beet red. It's not. No, I was just thanking him for... I know, dork. I was with him when he bought it. Yeah. So, the potential romance continues. We had a little moment. Although, the briefest of hugs is like...
I know.
It's like, Taylor, you're, I mean, I would say she's not trying to start something
the most Taylor thing ever happens before that. She finds the gift, and then she gets all of her costume stuff settled. Well, I was sure he'd be gracious either way. I was assuming he would appreciate it more if I got ready first and then thanked him instead of the other way around.
I'm sure she's correct. He wanted everyone to get ready quickly. Yeah.
It's just, it's very them.
Yes.
That's the thing that they share.
Yes, it is.
That's the thing that they share.
Binds them together.
Yeah, so Brian's gift, does this take you into Brian is crushing on Taylor territory, or is it still ambiguous?
I mean, I think it is still ambiguous. This is certainly a mark in the yes column. Yeah, he got her something unprompted to welcome her.
Yeah.
I saw it seemed very you. Consider it a belated welcome present, Brian. Yeah, I mean, could very well be.
He didn't give it to her directly. Maybe a little
True.
shyness.
Yeah. Yeah, he left it in her room, but with a note. Very sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a little Valentine.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
No,
I think it is ambiguous, but...
Yeah, I don't think we've seen anything that's like, oh my goodness, this guy definitely has a crush. But yeah, the potential is there.
The potential is there.
Yeah.
The potential is there.
The space is open for that to happen.
Do we have any more, thoughtful Brian commentary, or should we talk about a few other excellent things in this chapter?
I want to go back to the image of the blood coming out of his knuckles and also the black smoke.
Yeah.
Because it is sort of like the blood is himself and it seems like the smoke is also himself. Like he's seeing his own violence come out of his skin.
Yeah.
And I was just flashing back to Taylor in the locker, like she felt so disgusting.
Yeah.
Being shoved in with those pads and tampons. Like she was suddenly getting inside the heads, I guess they have heads, inside the viewpoints of all of these bugs. It just felt kind of disgusting and dirty. It does seem to be for both of them, it was a part of themselves that was suddenly pushed forward or suddenly large and prominent in a way that it had never been before.
Yeah.
For her, it was suddenly feeling gross. And for him, it was feeling this violence.
Yeah. And actually, something you said, and I think you're right metaphorically, this is his violence manifesting.
Mm-hmm.
But the way his power works, right, is his power hides him, but he's still doing the violence himself, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like in this moment, right, he gets triggered. It's his trigger event,
mm-hmm.
right? And he almost kills this guy with his hands, right? And his power isn't something that makes he doesn't get browbeats power, where he suddenly becomes super strong and dangerous. His power,
it isn't violence. It's sort of knowledge of the darkness of the world, of the darkness of himself. And being able to use that darkness almost to stop violence in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
He can just go in and out without hurting people.
Right,
If he'd had the darkness, he wouldn't have had to beat up that guy.
Yeah, exactly. And it prevents him from being seen, but it also prevents others from being seen, which, again, would have helped
sort of the protective thing.
protect his sister.
Yeah. Right. And it's not just darkness, as we said. It's the sensory deprivation.
Yeah, that's true.
And I wonder if there is some element of he said he became cold and he was so capable. He's the only one who can see and hear and stuff in his darkness.
That's
his sort of
interesting.
exaggerated competence compared to the rest of the world is almost what he's dealing with. So maybe it's not so much horror at the violence as sort of the awareness of himself as the one in control of the space and what happens in it.
And he says, I went cold, I felt nothing.
Yeah.
But his power gives that to other people. You were just saying, right? He doesn't...
Yeah.
He still feels every punch he delivers when he's using his power.
That's true. That's true. Ooh, fascinating. There's so many good angles on this.
Yeah.
What a complex metaphor. Okay, but to turn to another important Brian question. Do we still think he is the other murderer? I realize you can't really comment on this. I feel like it's slightly less likely after hearing this story. I mean, this was such a significant event for him. He did not kill the guy. He almost killed the guy, but the guy was alive and was put on trial.
I mean, was he? Do we know that?
It's a good point. He could be lying. He is not necessarily a reliable narrator.
But if he killed this guy, I mean, come on, no one's going to be mad at him about that. If it went down the way, if everything is true except for the fact that he killed this guy.
Also,
it's a pretty
I don't know that he
story.
would have gotten 3 months community service for killing someone.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
It would change a bunch of the
At this
story.
point, he'd be lying about a lot of details if he had killed this guy. But maybe he killed another guy.
That is true. I mean, it seems like he has been operating as a villain for like 3 years. So there definitely could have been a situation later on where he did end up killing someone. Yeah, I feel like it's slightly less likely, but the space is still there.
Yeah.
Space for murder, space for crushes, it's all there.
Yeah. All right. This is a question off the cuff, but why do you think Brian volunteered? He didn't have to tell this story.
No,
he
that's
felt a little
point.
bit of like, well, Taylor went out on a limb and someone should do it, and I guess I can do it. So maybe he felt he had no choice. Yeah. But I'm wondering, do you anything beyond that?
I think he wanted Taylor to know this about him. This is kind of what you need to know who Brian is. Yeah. Like, this is the vital information.
And I mean, her esteem towards him goes up. Like,
oh yeah,
it certainly helps that she was already crushing on him. But like, now she's going to be like star-eyed. Like, wow.
Now she feels more like probably she has internal permission to crush on him because also he's so noble.
Yeah.
I also think the other Undersiders knew this story already.
Mm.
Like, maybe they didn't know as much detail, but they don't show any surprise. And also, Lisa clearly knows, like, the boss is like pulling strings for him to arrange this thing.
No,
like,
you're right. That's a great point. Yeah. That's a great point. And because he is so clinical in the way he tells the story, it's not as big of an emotional moment. There's no indication that it's as big of an emotional moment for him as it is for Taylor. It's not like he's like, finally, I get this off my chest. So
no.
I think that's a good point.
And also, it's something that he seems like he didn't feel anything about when it happened. Like, he kind of did go cold, didn't have strong emotions around it, and it has since formed the basis of all of the actions he's taken. So that makes it probably easier to tell because it was incredibly significant. It doesn't have the strong gut punch feelings attached to it that you might expect.
Yeah, well, and he's built his identity around it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's
not a hidden thing that it's hard for him to think about.
Yeah. The reason I'm doing this is because of my sister, and that's also the reason I have powers, and this is me. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think while Alec and Lisa's stories are potentially just as fundamental in terms of, their choices, they are probably not touchstones they go to every day for their motivation for what they're doing.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit more shoved into the past and they try to forget about it.
Right.
Kind of things. Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Okay, before we wrap up, we got to talk about the spiders.
The spiders!
Oh my gosh.
You just got to rotate the spiders. I'm always saying this.
You know what? We have a lot of chores to do, Ted. It would help if you rotated the spiders sometimes.
It would help if we had bug labor. Taylor, when she gets back to the loft, she looks around and she's like, should we build cages? See, where could I find cages or containers that could house thousands of spiders?
Sweatshop.
Whether I settled on egg cartons or built the entire thing with the help of bug labor, I knew it was doable somehow. Bug labor. Oh my gosh.
That would help with our chores so much.
It would help so much. It would help so much. And
it would be like Cinderella. No, it would be like Enchanted in here.
Yes.
Yes, the cockroaches lifting Violet out of her crib in the morning, bringing her down for breakfast.
Yes.
The little fruit flies stirring the banana into her oatmeal.
Incredible.
Ideal.
Incredible. Though, if we had the bug labor, we would have to deal with Alec's fears. Tens of thousands of spiders just lurking below me, making spider noises, and climbing upstairs to crawl on me while I sleep.
Yeah, Taylor's like, are you arachnophobic? And
no, he's just a normal guy. Come on, Taylor. Nobody wants this. And he's being funny. Like, this is very funny.
Yeah,
the making spider noises. And we've been looking for a Marco. This is very Marco, where he's like, this is the point when you can say you're messing with me, right? I can take a prank. Like, this is great if it's a prank. Please don't tell me there are actually going to be tens of thousands of spiders.
And then she's like, Black Widows are like, he's like, okay, no. Black Widows, no, you've got to. She's like, yeah, where do you think I got the ones for that fake job? Like, they have the strongest silk. I mean, I'd love to get these other spiders, like the can't survive. Yeah,
ones.
The Darwin's bark spider. And Alec's like, oh my gosh, you're really not kidding about the Black Widows.
Yeah.
No, totally fair. Taylor, do you want tens of thousands of spiders living beneath you? Like, she's creeped out watching the Black Widows work too. Like,
yeah, no, that's true. But yeah, I guess
she doesn't live there. So.
Yeah, she doesn't live there. And she knows they're not going to crawl on her while she sleeps.
Yes.
I think she's pretty confident in that.
Oh, yeah, she's got control.
Yeah.
I love that she's going into the cape costume business here.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely, $1,500 bargain. Like, bargain basement deal here. For a full custom costume made of spider silk where you have to manipulate the individual spiders to make it work. I mean, I feel like this is like a $30,000 costume.
Yeah.
She doesn't care about the money, so... Which I did like that line. Money didn't hold any sway over me, really. I mean, big numbers could make my eyes widen, but at the end of the day, I had no plans to spend my ill-gotten gains. But if she made a costume for him, that's like fair-gotten gains.
That's true.
She's making a villain costume, but still.
Right.
She's like putting in the work for that.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
It was very telling, I thought, that she does jump straight to negotiation, like, on principle, and because she's like, it's kind of annoying, I don't want to do it. And then it's only when Lisa's like, ooh, can I has costume as well? That she's like, making the villains more durable. Interesting. Do I want that?
Yeah, I mean, I think she should just open a tailor shop. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yes. She should become a seamstress, except she doesn't need seams. She just has spider silk.
I mean, yeah, as I think there was a joke in the Worm Hamilton parody about this, that she could pick the name Taylor, except for a secret reason she can't.
Oh my gosh. No, it would just be so satisfying if she's just like garbing every hero and villain out there. Yeah. And there's a wait list, like, I was going to say 6 months long, but probably like several years long to get a costume made by her spiders.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's a great career.
Yeah.
I
many of these powers could be really lucrative if instead of using them to fight each other, they just use them for capitalism.
Right. But making costumes for villains and heroes is not stopping the bad guys, and that's what Taylor is all about.
That's true. She wants to stop the bad guys, like Brian, who's doing this to save his sister.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. She really didn't think about that at all. So, yeah, we're gonna,
Yeah. Brian the murderer.
We don't know that.
Okay.
He only has, like, a 1/3 chance of being the murderer.
Okay. That's
I
how
assume
it works.
murdererness is randomly assigned.
That works. What if Armsmaster only knows about 2 out of 4 murders? The undersiders
Okay, so there are
committed.
4 doors with each of the undersiders behind them. We open one door, and Rachel is there, because we know she's the murderer.
Okay, well, now there are going to be more murders. You put Rachel behind a door for long enough.
She's alone in there. And then the narrative opens the Brian door, and we see that he's not a murderer. So, which door do we choose?
That's a great point.
Wait, I've lost the thread somehow.
That's a great point.
We might need to cut that.
No, I think it was good. The Monty Hall murder.
The Monty Hall murder problem.
The Monty Hall murder problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let me see if there's something else I want to say. Oh, yeah. A couple of quick things. When Lisa uses her power to explain that Brian and Taylor are talking past each other, this is so relatable. This happens all the time, even without superpowers. And I really love the mundane use of Lisa's power here. I also love Taylor briefly fantasizes about attacking 2 moms with strollers who were taking up
so random.
the whole sidewalk. And
what was that?
I find it so relatable. This is how I feel.
But why was it in there?
Well, I don't know. It's just that's how I feel.
What's going to happen with this piece of knowledge about Taylor's pet
What
peeves?
I want to say is this is relatable content. If you're walking down the side, like, this is how I feel about littering. If I see somebody littering, I'm like, I want God to be real and smite this person dead. Like, that's the world I want to live in.
By
in those
littering,
moments.
do you mean having a litter of 4 identical infants that you're,
No.
like, herding into? Okay.
No. But, like, and of course, Taylor's like, of course she's going to just be thinking like this, like, oh, a mildly annoying thing happened. Oh, I could bees all of them. I would never.
I would never.
Of course I would never.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Is this Chekhov's someone's walking slowly in front of the sidewalk?
That's what I'm saying. This is going to be her real heel turn moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
The whole protectorate is taking up the sidewalk, and she's like, you know what?
Arms Master was walking too slowly, and his halberd was blocking, so I couldn't get in front of him.
Yeah, exactly.
Bees!
Too slowly to walk behind, but too fast to go around.
I know.
Oh.
I know. Miss Militia's grenade launcher is just swinging back and forth and getting in the way.
And then Taylor kills them all.
And then Taylor kills them all. The end.
Much shorter book than I thought.
Yeah.
It's going to be 1.45 million words of fluff, and then the sidewalk incident, and then she kills them all.
The sidewalk incident. I know.
Can't wait to get to the sidewalk incident.
Someone's going to get powers out of the sidewalk incident, for sure.
Okay, so speaking of what's going to happen in the future of this book. So, the deal with the money, they have it in the loft, or it's still in the warehouse?
No, so it's, they dropped it off. Brian and Rachel dropped it off in a storage locker.
Yes.
Right after the bank job. They waited for the darkness to clear, and then they came back to the loft. And
with the money?
No, they
so
left
it's still
the
in
money.
The storage locker.
And they are planning to, I guess, go get it and deliver it to the boss.
Was going to pick it up from the storage locker.
Maybe that's what it was.
Why is there this extra wrinkle?
Yeah. Maybe the boss was going to meet them there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because the boss was also going to give them some extra money, I think, as well. So maybe there has to be a mutual exchange. I don't remember. So I don't know that we know the logistics. We will probably learn more about what the logistics were.
So Rachel is out. She was supposed to come back and she's not back. She's out with one of her dogs. I'm very concerned.
Well, they were supposed to meet here 20 minutes earlier. And their first thought is, maybe she must have gone without us.
Yeah. But she's not answering her phone.
Yeah.
So presumably something happened to her, because otherwise she probably would have just waited for them.
Yeah.
They think they need to check on the money. Do they think that, like, I'm trying to figure out whether it's likely the money was actually disturbed.
Yeah.
Because if the money is in a storage locker somewhere, if someone has Rachel, or if something happened to Rachel, that wouldn't really mean anything bad about the money.
Maybe, yeah.
I did think they weren't going to get any money out of this job.
Yeah, just happening an arc later.
Yeah.
Well, so what's the deal with Rachel, and what does it mean for the next few chapters? Like,
Rachel got kidnapped by the wards.
The wards?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she's the one who's known.
Yeah.
That's why she didn't go out to the market with them.
Yeah, okay, yeah, she got spotted in public.
It doesn't seem like she disguises herself super well in public. Like, she doesn't, wear a mask normally, or she doesn't, wear a low hat. So, and there was that warning on Parahumans Online or whatever.
Right.
That was like, if you see her, do not approach. So It seems like she is seen out and about, potentially. And now the wards really care. And they want more information. They're the ones with the biggest grievance. I mean, the Protectorate isn't necessarily actively involved. They could be. They could be working together to do this. They're probably going to be trying to get information from her.
Yeah. Like,
where's the loft? Where's the money? Who are the other Undersiders? She doesn't seem like someone who would talk.
Yeah.
Like, really, of all of them, the worst one to pick.
And what could you offer her? She's also not going to, deal. Right?
Yeah, no. What does she want except freedom from the government?
Yeah.
So, here's my list of the Undersiders in order of least to most likely to crack under torture.
Okay.
I love
clearly a relevant list.
Well, right now it is. Rachel is the least likely.
Okay.
Absolutely not. She, there's, nothing they could give her that she would want. I think Brian is the next least likely.
Ooh.
Because he just has a lot of willpower. He has a lot of stoicism to draw on. He has a lot of determination. He does have more levers than Rachel. I think Rachel, you go after the dog. Wouldn't put money on her holding fast. But I don't know if they'll know to go after the dog. They're the good guys. They might not torture the dog.
Yeah.
Brian does have these family ties that could be played on if they figure out who he is. And, there are things that he wants before, Rachel does. I'm not sure which order to put Lisa and Taylor in.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think Lisa has a lot more experience with this kind of thing. And she also was very cool under pressure in the bank. Taylor, I think, would have the strength of her convictions, and she also has really held up well under the bullying without doing anything stupid. So I think probably Taylor is the next least likely, and then Lisa.
Okay.
Alec, we're doomed.
I mean, just throw some spiders on him and he'll just start dishing. Yeah.
Just aim a gun at his, media collection and he'll be like, no, I'll talk. I'm probably not being fair to him, but I think he is the weakest link. So
yeah, not the PlayStation.
Not the PlayStation. My games are on there. I'll lose my progress. So I think Rachel's been kidnapped. I think they're gonna have to rescue her.
Yeah,
it's gonna be exciting. Well, I think Taylor's not gonna go to school tomorrow.
On Saturday?
Oh, was it Friday? Yes, I do.
I mean, great prediction. Spoiled. I'm pretty sure this is just still the next day, right?
It's Friday, yes. Yeah. Okay, well then I definitely think that's true.
Fun. Looking forward to the weekend.
So no new Cape names?
Yeah, this may boost your theory. No new Cape names.
Man, okay. Frustrating. But, I mean, it could still be New Wave or something because we already heard all their Cape names. We just haven't learned anything about most of them.
Isn't it going to be funny when there are no other Capes introduced throughout the entire story?
It will be funny, yes.
It will be funny. Good. Good.
Well, remember when I said at some point it's going to slow down and you said, will it?
I'm glad you noticed.
I mean, I don't know that this is a permanent slowdown, but we'll see.
All right, what are we doing? We're still recording. We
should wrap it up. Wrap it up, Ted.
All right, it's wrapped.
See you next time on Inchworm.
Worm is a web serial by J.C. McCrae. You can read Worm at parahumans.wordpress.com and support the author at patreon.com/wildvote. Follow us on Tumblr and Blue Sky at Inchworm Podcast, or find our Discord link and any other updates on inchwormpodcast.com.